right, in the arena here on the Sunday, a very busy week news-wise. Thank you so much to the three of you for being here. Really, Donald Trump delivering his acceptance speech at the RNC convention in Milwaukee. This was at times an emotional speech, opening up talking about the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and the way he began to say, people keep asking me about what happened last Saturday, and it's too painful to talk about, so I'm only going to do this once. So that was sort of extraordinary for him to show Phil that kind of human emotion.
And he did it in such great detail. I mean, he left no aspect of it out of his remarks, but you could tell he was impacted by this. This was a life-changing moment for him. And he said to the crowd, "I wasn't supposed to be here tonight." And they responded, "Yes, you were. Yes, you were." And I think that was a motivating moment for him. We heard a muted traditional version of Donald Trump. He could have cut that speech in half, focused on results, energy, emotion, and the belief in the future, and he went too long.
And instead, an awful lot of people probably drifted off before he was done. Ethan, what's your takeaway from it?
It's the same old Trump. I mean, maybe a little bit more muted at the beginning, the first 10 minutes, but even when he was talking about the assassination attempt, it was so much about him and his heroism and rising up, and it was not enough about what he learned from that experience and how that changed his thinking about America. And then the speech just moved into fear, anger, hate, all the divisive stuff that he goes to every single time.
Some of the president tend to not like when members of the media sort of pontificate, is this a different Donald Trump? But in the speech, he did strike a different tone that I think we've heard before, or at least frequently.
It felt like it was not going to be typical Donald Trump, and then sadly it became typical Donald Trump. It became about him. It was not about us. It was not about what he learned. It was not about what changed. It was really just about him and the heroics of the moment and people thinking I'm dead and then I rose up like he's some kind of savior or martyr, and that felt very uncomfortable, I have to say, watching it. I would have loved to have heard him say a little bit about what he learned and that piece of it, but he didn't really get there.
Yeah, I mean, he did bring out firefighter Corey Compertore's firefighting uniform. He hugged that, so some difference in optics that will be received differently by different people. In the excerpts that were sent out by the Trump campaign ahead of this speech, several pages of this were released, and there was no direct reference to President Biden, as you pointed out. What do you make of that strategy?
The one thing he was supposed to do tonight is never mention Joe Biden's name. He said it over and over, I'm not going to mention, and of course at some point he just had to go there. So it's unfortunate that he didn't use this opportunity to bring us together in a way that he could have.
Now, Phil, obviously most Trump supporters are solid for him. Did he do anything tonight to bring anybody off the fence if they're wavering?
Well, much of his speech sounded that way. He said things like, I want to represent all of America, not half of America. I want to extend friendship and loyalty to everyone. And those were all the right emotions to create. But then he went on and just started his partisan.
This is something that ABC News has been reporting on extensively in recent days, that both publicly and behind closed doors, that some leading Democrats are now asking the president to step aside. And at least their impression from some reporters with sources is that the tide may be turning in at least how that message is being received.
Because you're hearing from some very powerful members of the Democratic Party, if not directly, then indirectly through surrogates. And you're seeing major donations have cratered. So, and the small donations can't make up for the money that Biden campaign wants to have, Phil.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, he goes out to do a campaign event in Nevada, comes back with COVID. If you saw the images, he was feeble getting off the plane. It just reinforces what we saw in the debate. And
not great timing for him.
No, and what many people have thought for the last several years, that he didn't have the capability or the capacity to do the job.
Well, I think he has the capacity to do the job. I think that debate performance was so bad that people have just lost that faith in his ability at this point. But I've always felt like once Nancy Pelosi or Barack Obama or both started making intimations he needed to get out, and that is now what's happened, that's kind of where the dam opens up.
Democratic National Convention is next month, and the way that the news cycle has gone this summer, there's a lot that can change between now and then. We're going to be talking about it. I know the three of you will be following it closely. We so appreciate you joining us here
You're
on this
welcome.
Sunday.
Good morning,
My pleasure.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.